Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Banished with the Colonial Charter mod. Well, what's been going on? I've played some, and that's a bit of an understatement, since you were last here. Largely to attempt to silence one or two people in the comments who were suggesting that my large building plan was going to take until the end of time to complete. So I've played forward probably, I don't know, 15 years, I guess, in the game. Yeah, I know, quite a bit. So I'm going to start out with a quick recap of what you've missed. Let's do a leisurely look over here, because I'm not going to give you any spoilers in the slightest. I'll walk you through the exciting stuff in a minute. Yes, so when you left, we were on the cusp of something of a population crisis, a population dilemma, a problem with the townsfolk getting older, the workforce getting older, and as such having a minor problem with regard to actually being able to fulfill any jobs at all, because you were having all these older people living in various houses. Thank you very much for providing me an easy example, the Miller family. Yeah, older people living in houses and as such not producing any more children. Now, that's fine. I don't expect people to breed until they die. I don't think that's reasonable. However, this did lead to an issue, and the issue is one that's likely to repeat itself, and I'm just coming out to the other side of it now. If you can see up here, top left, we've got 209 working folk, 50 children, and 50 children has come about largely because of recent construction that I've done. And then 32 students. So yes, I've upped my school housing capacity significantly in order to make sure that my folk are trained. The difficulty comes when the weighting, and I'm not entirely sure what the weighting, that's weight as in how much it weighs, rather than weighting as in time. The weighting between non-workers and workers is one I need to figure out the sweet spot of, because you end up in a situation where, presuming you're keeping people in relatively good health, a large majority of your population will be of working age, but beyond the age at which they're procreating, and as such you can end up with, well, effectively, large swathes of your population dying, and then just of old age rather than anything else, and then not having anybody with which to replace them with. It's problematic, that's for certain. Now, I replaced a field here a moment ago. I don't know where it's gone. Definitely, there it is. Are you now ready? Oh, you're not quite. We'll keep an eye on that. Yes, so I reached a situation where I had just over 100 adult population remaining, and it took until quite a bit longer before I actually recovered from that. Now, the good news is that I've got an economy that's set up so that by rotating around priorities, I can keep the town afloat, but getting people into housing is the challenge, and the only way to recover from that is to constantly build new houses for young folk to move into and go and create more younger folk. It's tricky. So at the moment I've got a bit of a lag going on in terms of children getting to student age and then becoming adults, which is why we've got quite a lot of these fields currently unserviced. I might be a bit more purposeful about it though, because resources, or rather raw resources, I want. Let's stop working that one. Same with that. I've got so much lettuce, I don't know what to do with it. Leeks are good. Tomatoes were fine. More wheat. I've got a surplus of wheat and flour. I've been trading quite a lot of it. Let's get the professions tab open so you can have a bit more of a look about what's going on. But yeah, I want to make sure that my craft goods, so cotton particularly, and hemp as well, are being grown in suitable quantities in order to keep the rest of the economy kind of chugging along. That's the goal. Peas, yes. Hemp, good. Okay, well this doesn't look too bad. Who have we got out of business here? Spinach, right? Kale. Well, kale would be good for a bit of diversity of diet. Yes, I'm going to disable autosave before I record the next one. Apologies for it juddering around a little this time around. But I mean, one thing I've noticed is that running at high speed, there is a significant sacrifice in frame rate. So I'm going to try and avoid that being too commonplace in order to keep your viewing at pristine levels or some such. Likewise, I can probably scale back the number of miners we need them. Yeah, this is it. It comes down to where do you cut staff? I think we'll take a builder out because what I want to put in is I want to make sure that my herds are well tended to. Fishermen, we can probably drop one. In fact, fishermen, we can drop a couple. There we go. So I've got a spare labourer. Good. Right. So, where was that mushroom field? I don't want that mushroom field. I want this cotton field. That's another mushroom field. I don't need that either. How many more am I missing? 2. Okay. That probably includes the orchard area as well. And don't get me wrong. I'll be done with this in a moment. I think I've got. No, that's flour. You've got wheat. You've got wheat. Got wheat? I've got wheat. Well, maybe I haven't got so much wheat then. Maybe not. All right. Well, we better keep at least one running. Otherwise, that wagon's wheels are going to fall off as well. Good chickens. So yes. All right. Enough of this endless clickery. Let's look at what we've got going on. So I've expanded a lot. Or rather, I've reorganised a lot. So we've now got 3 separate fields full of cattle, all doing their thing, and that's to feed the 2 dairies I now have operating. And the reason I want 2 dairies is to provide enough butter so that I can make proper bread rather than hardtack at my butchers. Might seem like a minor detail, but it's nonetheless important. Likewise, what I've found is that butchers spend a long time not actually doing anything while they're waiting for a new herd to go off to slaughter. So I'm going to gradually work on kind of maxing out the animal population. There's just carnage going on in the bison field. They're being slaughtered in position. Well, I guess we don't want to think about that. Right, so as we come along the dockside here, the first thing you'll probably notice is I've built a little bit of quayside here. Not entirely sure what for yet, but it's going to represent another development on the kind of the side of the river here. Now, I've been debating getting this strip of road here, extended out over there as a bridge in order to create another pathway. But we've got one just there and another one just here, so I don't think it's necessary. Oh, look at all these houses that have been built. Yeah, so this is the traditional angle that we would look at things. And as you can see, the town centre design it's coming along. And to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced I'm going to make this the town centre. I think I'll probably end up putting a church of some description here, because religion so far is something I've kind of stayed away from. But I think the folks would like it. But we've got crafting of just about every persuasion going on around the outside. Here's the schoolhouse, which has been extended. Marvellous. And then we've got markets at each corner position. So there'll be another bank of houses running across here. And as you can see, I'm scheduling just about everything for demolition. And if we head out to the original build area, as you can see, there's virtually nothing left there now. And that's as intended. We'll head out further to the east as we look at it now in a moment, and I'll show you what's going on over in Dock Central. Yeah, but when working, and I hit a peak of 250, 260 working folk, and that was marvellous. Everything was humming along nicely, but of course with an ageing population and no real introduction of children. And as you can see, we've already dropped from 50 to 45 children. So there's a balancing point to be reached, and I'm not sure exactly where that is in terms of when people are dying and freeing up housing space so that the next generations can be bred effectively. So I don't think I'm at the sweet spot yet. I think in terms of town size, I'm still too low to have hit a position where it's self-sustaining, where I don't have to expand if I don't want to, and that's where I'd like to get to, so that any expansion can be out of desire rather than necessity. And pretty much all the expanding I'm doing so far is out of necessity. So if we just, if we go through a few houses at random, as you can see, it's an aging population. There we go. So yeah, problematic, and we'll resolve that over time. Anyway, the long-term plan is to put some civic buildings in this centre square, continue around the outside with various manufacturing entities. In fact, let's plumb in this bit of road now, just so that I've got it ready for when I need it. So working on a grid system like this is, it's a little bit dull. Of course, it always helps if you put it in the right flipping place. Yeah. There we go. Yes, no. So working on this kind of grid idea is, it's obvious, but I think the overall effect is going to be pretty positive when we're done. As much as this is, it's burning through quite a lot of stone, I've now got to the point where if we zip down here, my quarry finally is upgraded. So I imported whale blubber, and I made the lamps necessary to not only extend this small quarry, but also this mine. So we have I believe we have an endless resource going on there. It certainly doesn't seem to suggest that it's going to run out. Let's just have a quick word with this chap here. Stop selling me coats. Coats I'm fine for. As you can see, 900 we've got in stock. We can give everybody 4 coats and still have some left over. Right, yes, so what you're probably observing here is I do have a storage problem right now. Part of that comes down to increased manufacturing overall. The fact that I've kind of unfettered farming so that it can generate as much as it sees fit, and some nomads. Look, well, that would solve my problems, wouldn't it, everybody? Nomads solve the problems. Get out, you peasants. Not interested. You had your chance. Oh, we recovered from that very quickly. They went to hospital and were sorted out. But yeah, we're running multiple mines, we're running several quarries, but storage is starting to become an issue. In fact, starting, I think, is maybe missing the boat. They're a little. I think we if we look behind us, starting to be an issue is a little way back. So where we're at now it is an issue. So I've got things like a couple of key storage areas set up. And they're not quite as full, but even so, this is something I need to fix. I was pretty sure I put a barn in here somewhere. Maybe I changed my mind. Could happen, as it so often does. Anyway, what am I going to get up to? So this is, as you probably guessed, given the time at which I've been rambling on, this is something of a recap on progress to date. And yeah, you could have had another 8 or 9 episodes of not a lot happening, apart from occasional farm infestations. But I felt that actually, given that we're 30 odd episodes into this series, let's move things along a bit. Given that what I'm fundamentally working on here is revisionist design of what we've had so far. So, as you can see, this is the kind of town square area, and if we look at, I'm not ready to build this yet, but I think we can mock it up. I want to put something, you know, tremendously expansive in here. So a chapel, I think, would work quite nicely, and because there is going to be no separation of church and state in this town, I'll also move the other kind of major civic buildings over in this direction. Alternatively, I might build the chapel and then put a graveyard next to it. That could be fun. Yeah, I don't know. You know, this can be as big as we want. I don't know if having a cemetery in the middle of the town is a good idea or not. But likewise, we don't have a courthouse, so I could put, you know, we could have justice. Actually, stuff the church. We'll go for a courthouse in the middle of town. There's a governor's office. Do we have a governor's? Yes, we do have a governor. Yeah, let's have the courthouse here. I like that as a concept. Because as much as this is a town centre, it's not going to be the town centre. I have yet to decide where that is. Equally, this is the front. This is the forward face here. And it looks to me like this is an uneven number of blocks in... that's incredibly annoying. So what are you? You're... what's that? 4, 7... No, 8. So you're 8 by... 9. Terrific. Okay, so what I wanted to do is this is going to be the front, right? So what I'm hoping is that I turn this into some kind of grand processional grandness. Now maybe if I offset more, what else have we got that we could possibly put in there? And the governor's office is 6. Well, that's no help there. Colonial Hall is 7. So yes, we could put the Colonial Hall and the courthouse next to each other, although that feels excessive. I think we just put the courthouse in here. You know what? I'm gonna block that in. So this would be, if I zoom out a touch. So if you manage, if you imagine this kind of housing estate running all the way around the outside, except for this area here. So this section, and then we gradually move down, and I may narrow this section of river to be incredibly narrow. The challenge, of course, is going to be can traders get through? I'm going to say probably, and then connect over to here. So I mean, there's remodeling to be done just about everywhere, but this is going to be sort of a display-like area, which means I put this hedge in the wrong place. I'll get over it. And likewise, these guys who've only just moved in, I'll move them out again. Because I only came up with this idea recently, as I occasionally do. Yeah, and so continue filling this out with industry and markets and what have you. The other thing I need to resolve right away is storage, and I don't have a concept for that yet. I haven't got a thought that is properly kind of gestated. I mean, we could put a storage barn here, but who wants to live opposite that? Do I care whether they want to live opposite it or not? Well, therein lies the decision to be made. Well, it's not big enough for a magazine, and I mean we're really talking about magazine scale buildings at this point. We could put a root cellar there or something. Yeah, you see, I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. A resource depot. What does that look like? Now, you see, that could be handy. Now, as I understand it, with a resource depot, you can decide for yourself what actually gets to live in it. In fact, oh no, that's what we'll do. Given that we're building this dockside, I could build nothing but resource depots all the way along here. Yeah, I think that'll look great. when it's done. Now that will require me building a bridge, because if I'm stashing resources in that kind of quantity, I'm going to want people to be able to get at them, right? I think that very much stands to reason. But that's the sort of thing that I'll do while you're... this is the way that I'm going to evolve the series now, is I'm going to try and make it so that you're not sitting around with me waiting for stuff to be done while I fill, admittedly with great professionalism, the empty space in commentary while that's taking place. Alright, what are you actually waiting for? Building supplies. Now, I've bought some of them, so that's good. Now, if I'm going to build a bridge across here, firstly, this dry storage hut, which I've only just finished, that's got to go. What are the other options? There's another option here, look. Right, okay, so I need to take out that bit. Right, okay, I've got a mental fix on it. Have I still got a mental fix on it? Hold on, no, just quick. Yeah, okay, it's that one. Right, and then we just... Yeah, there we go. Right, and then we'll bridge across here. That's the nice thing about Quayside, is it doesn't use any resources to build. Hold on. There's some chap working there. He's digging clay. Well, good news. I've got plenty of clay. Sorry about that. You're out of here. Needs must. So yeah, the hope is that as I expand out from this original area, I haven't yet picked whether I'm going to expand this way, so south as we were looking at it originally, or to the north, which currently is just nothing but kind of orchards. That's the thing with the landscape that's being generated, is it's all pretty similar, and that's fine. But it means there is no real candidate for, oh yes, that's so much better than anywhere else. As much as, we've got some nice lake going on here, and further development down the river might be fun. Yeah, we could follow the river all the way along to the edge of the universe. But there aren't any more lakes down that way. What else have we got going on here? This is quite nice. So, okay, well, it feels to me like we'll expand to the other lake. So maybe continue along this bit of river and do something, magnificent over here. I don't know. Anyway, have we got that bit? Is that demolished yet? This is the problem of having people not working. So there we go. Right, so look, if we look now, we've now got a greater number of people who have become students. Good, but the number of children is still lower than it was, and this can only mean that we're having houses blocked at a higher rate than new people can move into them at the right age to procreate. Because you also end up, Daryl, 16, student, living in his own house, her own house, lucky person. Come on, there's going to be a house that provides a good example here. 75 and 85. Actually, that last one was a good example. Right, so if we imagine Sherin here is as a student, now she's 13. Now, if she gets to the kind of age where, it's conceivable, given the age of her parents, that she could still be there at the age of 30 odd, if no house frees it up for her to move into, and as such. That means that the opportunities for breeding are pretty low. But quite why I'm so fixated on people, having children, I think, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? So, back here, between Loniel and Liza, they will have had Jovany, when Liza was 36. And that's really pushing it. Normally you would hope to get, a good couple of Herberts out of someone of that age. What I'm looking for here is evidence of you know, reproductive age people who are still living with their family. Oh, maybe we've actually accomplished the dream. The downside then, of course, is let's say that, you know, these older couples who you know, are currently occupying these places, the children we've got coming through now, they all it's like, you know, look at Angelia, 45 years old, living on her own in a house. I should be able to set rules. I should be able to say, look, we've got some singleton houses for people to move into, and you can go and live there. No one's living in the town lodging right now. That's good. So at least homeless people have somewhere to go. You lot, get out. Yep. Good. We'll clear that out of the way as well. Have we? Yes, we have. Right. Okay. So we've made space here, and we'll bridge through there. So I mean, there's a, you know, a near Venice aspect to this, I guess. As much as, you know, there's not a oh, look at that. How good is that going to look? The answer, it's going to look great. Right. It's also going to take a heck of a lot of building. No, actually, it's not going to take a heck of a lot of building. It's going to take some building. Anyway, that's one. No, it's not going to wrap it up. I've got one more thing to show you. Right. So, this big market, I need a thought process associated with that at some point. But over here is the dockside we've been working so far, and it's coming on. I filled round the corner to get that working. This was a little more fiddly than might otherwise be desirable, but the aim here is what has been suggested. Ding 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 ding! Is we're gonna put a boatyard in there, a shipyard. There you go. Where do you like to sit? Right about there, so that it marries up with the remainder of the seawall that we've got, the quayside, and then we'll finish off that wall. Now that's going to mean this fisherman's time is on borrowed time. In fact, I'm going to plumb that in now so that it's plumbed in. There we go. Iron, lumber. I've got all of those things somewhere. What I don't have is a sizable building crew to get it done. So yeah, we'll swap out these fishermen for your standard dockside approach. Likewise, the trading post. I'm going to dockside all of this, and then we'll plumb trading posts in along the way. And instead of this generalized one that we have right now, I'm thinking of going for very specific trading types in order to hit all of the necessary boxes. So there we go. That's the state of play, team. And then all of this, it all needs rearranging. But when it's done, we're going to work on something that ends up, hopefully, being a little more glamorous. How are we getting on here? No supplies turned up. That's because I've got a labourer shortage. Nothing going on there. That's because I've got a everything shortage. So yeah, people, let's see, look, 43, 38. I haven't got the balance right, and we've lost people of working age. There we go. That's where we're at, and that's going to wrap it up for now. So I wanted to get a bit of progress done, but until I hit a kind of a stable point. Oh, however, we have finished the courthouse. Well, that's fun. What are you? Are you an official? No, you're going to be a judge, right? You're not. Oh, you're not a monk. I'll tell you that for nothing. You're not a presser. That's also not what you are. Trader, Vero, no. Did we cover everybody there? Sure you're not an official? Sure. Builder, fire, adventurer. I doubt that. Charter deputy. No. Cleric. I don't think you shouldn't have a cleric running your courthouse. I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say that that's probably what it is. but I can't quite get behind that conceptually. Ho hum. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Yeah, so I'm gonna build sort of, you know, gardens and hedges and benches and streetlights and nonsense around here, and then we'll bulldoze these three fine and enterprising individuals in order to make some kind of processional doodah, I think is the way we'll describe it, going down here towards the lake. Let's mark these for termination. You're terminated. Go as far as there. Oh no, you're going to give me trouble, aren't you? Right, there we go. It's not being upgraded, it's being removed. Yes, using this ridiculous system. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Please chuck us a like on this one. If you wouldn't mind doing so, that would be splendid. Likewise, if you've not subscribed already, what's taking you so long? Get on with that. That's, I mean, you know, chop chop, time's wasting. I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.